Today we're making keto diabetic friendly cheesecake. How are we doing that? How are we achieving that? You will see that the crust recipe here, instead of graham cracker crumbs, we're utilizing nut flour as well as some finely chopped pecans. The rest of the recipe is really the same except for the sugar. So the sugar that we're using in this recipe and in the actual cheesecake batter is a monk fruit sweetener. So you'll see that it comes together just like a normal graham cracker crust would, and you bake it just like a normal graham cracker crust until it's golden brown. And once the cheesecake is fully baked, you'll get those nice kind of crunchy pieces from the pecans. Now let's make the cheesecake batter. So in a mixer with the paddle attachment, you want to very well paddle your cream cheese. Now maybe your cream cheese is already at room temperature, but you want to make sure that either with your hand mixer or with the stand mixer that you get it to be extremely soft. This is a very important step. If you're working with cold cream cheese and you start to add in the sugar and the eggs, you will get some large lumps. And that's really the worst thing that could happen in cheesecake batter, is that you have a lot of lumps. So what I've done here, actually, so the sugar is already in here with the cream cheese. So that was the cream cheese plus the monk fruit sweetener. And now I added my eggs one at a time. And you'll notice that after each egg addition that I scrape the bowl very thoroughly. You cannot scrape it enough. Make sure that when you scrape it, you get to all of the different bottom areas on the sides of the bowl so that you're not missing any large chunks. So you'll see that I do this 3 times. You can even do it more. And the way that I'm incorporating flavor and fruit into this cheesecake without increasing the amount of actual normal sugar in it is I chose a low glycemic index fruit, which is blueberries. And we're adding lemon zest as well, which is not going to affect the blood sugar issues. So the lemon zest goes in with this batter once everything's incorporated. And the blueberry, we're going to just use some blueberry puree. So you can easily just blend some blueberries, or you can microwave some frozen blueberries and extract that juice from there and mix it into some of this finished batter. Now that I'm finished with my base batter, I want to make a little bit of it blueberry flavored. So I have my blueberry kind of liquid that I extracted from the microwave blueberries. And I'm putting in about a quarter of the mixture into this other bowl. And I will mix that in, and I will be marbling that in my cheesecake. And that helps to create the flavor difference as well as the color difference. So you'll see there that that's the blueberry liquid. I mix that in. Look at how beautiful that color is, that natural kind of bluish purple color. And I'm going to reserve that for after I put the actual cheesecake batter into my pan. Now that I put my base batter in, I'm going to give it a little bit of a tap so that it evens out, and then I can put in that blueberry mixture that I had. So I'll dollop the blueberry mixture in, probably about 2 tablespoons or so at a time, and then I will take a knife or a skewer or something so that I can get this pattern in a marbled, kind of swirled design. Now that that's finished, I want to give it a couple of taps to make sure that the top is even, as well as ensuring that excess air bubbles are coming out. And you're going to be baking this in a water bath, just like you did with the creme caramel or the flan. So make sure you have some just boiled water and a tray that can hold and withstand a little bit of that water about a quarter of the way up the pan. The reason why we bake this with a water bath is so that it doesn't get over baked in the oven. You won't have some large air bubbles as well as really, really tough edges. Because this cheesecake has a lot of egg in it, we want to ensure that it's cooked slowly and evenly, and that water bath helps. How do you know that the cheesecake is done? So when you take it out, you give it a jiggle, and you see that it jiggles kind of like jello. That's when it's done. You want to ensure that you freeze this before you cut it. If you don't freeze it and then you try to cut it, it will be very, very messy. So freeze it until it's solid, then unmold it from the pan, give it your cuts, and then you can serve it with a nice blueberry sauce or something like that that is low in the glycemic index.